Hello, my lovely anatomists and physiologists. We are ready to talk about potassium ion balance. And I think we should start by saying it's less common, but more dangerous compared to sodium ion imbalance. And we see that it's less common and more dangerous because we're going to find an increase in our potassium ion in the intracellular fluid, so inside the cell, because of our old friend, the sodium potassium exchange pump. And we'll see too that the potassium is important in helping us to establish our resting membrane potential. So our resting cell. Now here again, we have what's called hypokalemia. And again, we're using our other name for potassium, and this is revealing to us, oh, why does potassium have chemical symbol K? It's because of this other name. And so we have hypokalemia and hyperkalemia. And so just as you would suspect, the hypokalemia is a low potassium ion concentration. And when we talk about this, the causes can be a decreased dietary intake. So if you're not getting enough from your diet, and really that's rare. So that's an indicator of maybe starvation. This can also happen with vomiting, diarrhea, because of taking diuretics. So an antidiuretic causes you to retain water. A diuretic causes you to urinate more. Now, what we're seeing here is we can also see a cause of hypokalemia related to elevated aldosterone levels. We just finished talking about aldosterone as turning on sodium potassium exchange pumps in the distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct. So elevated aldosterone levels causes more exchange to happen. And so you've increased your potassium secretion in that case. When we talk about hyperkalemia, this means elevated potassium ion concentration levels. And this one can be caused by an increased dietary intake. The hyperkalemia will trigger aldosterone. So let me just go back to our discussion of hypokalemia. What we're seeing here is the aldosterone as a cause. The elevated aldosterone level can be a cause of hypokalemia, whereas the hyperkalemia solution is going to trigger aldosterone to be released. That is going to increase potassium ion secretion. Remember here, we've turned on the sodium potassium exchange pump at the DCT and the collecting duct. And so here we're using aldosterone to get rid of the extra potassium. So in the case of the hyperkalemia, we're using aldosterone to get rid of the extra potassium, whereas in our discussion of hypokalemia, we're seeing excessive production of aldosterone, causing a potassium imbalance. Going back to causes of hypokalemia, we see also a low pH can be a cause. And what we'll see is that in the distal convoluted tubule, you can have either sodium potassium exchange, or you can have sodium hydrogen ion exchange, but not both. They're competitive for each other. So if you have a low pH and you're having to get rid of a lot of hydrogen ion, then what happens is you secrete hydrogen ion instead of potassium. Okay, so let me just repeat that. If you have a low pH, if you have trouble balancing your pH, what's going to happen is you're going to turn on sodium hydrogen ion exchange pumps. And what that means is you're going to get rid of the hydrogen ion to bring your pH back into balance, but you're keeping potassium in the process. So having a difficulty regulating your pH can cause you to have problems regulating your potassium levels. All right. Up next, we're looking at regulation of pH, and stay tuned. As always, take care of yourselves and each other.